Shin Megami X, aka Captain X, leader of Squad X, and I'm here today to give you your weekly prescribed review of Bleach. Today what I'm going to be reviewing for you is Bleach Chapter 587, entitled The Headless Part 6. But before we even dive into the review, you guys already know what it is. You have to cue that intro. So nonetheless, let's get into this. Okay. Alright everybody, now that the lengthy introduction's out of the way, let's dive straight into the chapter. This chapter, The Headless Part 6, was more of a comical chapter. As what I've said in previous chapters, where this chapter isn't too much to be taken seriously in terms of, like, you know, battle power, strength and things of that nature, but there are a few serious points to make here or there, and I'm going to get into those later on. But firstly, let's cover over the comedic points of this chapter. The comedic points of the chapter, for starters, this might not be so much comedic, but more or less just like, you know, fan service in terms of Orihime, the cover art, Kubo. I know what you're doing, stop it. Anyways, let's move on. What basically the highlights of this chapter are, for me as a reviewer, trying to give you a comprehensive review, are the fact that Hashwell, Juha and Uryu managed to get up to the Soul Palace so quickly, when in fact it took Ichigo such a long time to get down from there. The fact that they're able to transcend and go upwards so quickly, it kind of worries me. It makes me realize that Hashwell has some serious power, and it makes me wonder, like, how does Hashwell's power compare to that of Juha's? Is it a case of, like, you know, Juha is just evidently supremely more powerful than Hashwell, or is it kind of relationship between, like, or is the relationship between Juha and Hashwell somewhat kind of like a, I think his name's Galacticus and Silver Surfer, where basically Hashwell actually has the power to defeat him, but obviously Juha is more powerful. Is it a case like that? Obviously we don't know, because we'd just be speculating at this point, but nonetheless, it's evident to see that Hashwell has some serious power, and is not to be taken for any kind of joke. These Quincies are no joke. Also, again, with now diving into, like, some of the more comedic segments of this chapter, such as the part where Chad picks up Ichigo and throws him into the building. Like, what the hell is he doing? Like, even I thought, like, when I first read this chapter, I was like, wait, what the hell? And even Ichigo's reaction was just like, what the hell was that for? But you know what? At the end of the day, Chad did make a good point that, you know, whether or not Uryu has you know, betrayed us or not, basically it doesn't change the fact that you still have something to do here. Like, you know, you got a war to end, so stop bitching and complaining and end the war. And he's right. And then what I find is that I remember when Ichigo first left the Soul Palace, that, you know, I think her name is Senjumaru, or it was oh, what's his name again? Manashuka, which is the bald Squad Zero division member, said that basically how he's become a real Shinigami, how he's matured and whatnot, but he doesn't seem to have matured at all. Yeah, I know some people are saying, like, well, how do you expect him to react in this situation? Well, I expected him to react very much how Chad and Orihime are acting, to be honest with you. Like, okay, yeah, Uryu seems to be doing something dodgy, but at the end of the day, it doesn't change what we have to do. Yeah, he's supposed to be our friend, whether or not he's still our friend, whatever. But at the end of the day, we still have a job to do, so let's finish that first. But Ichigo is just literally still going into, like, you know, like, whining about the situation, like, well, you're not answering me, like, why are you doing this, why are you doing this, why are you doing this, when you can clearly see that, you know, Uryu's got an agenda, he's made up his mind about something, so there's no change in it. And then even Ichigo's replies to, like, to Chad, as where he says, oh, what are you going to do if Uryu decides, like, you know, he doesn't want to return, or his, like, basically his answer doesn't suffice? I'm going to kick his ass and take him back anyway. If somebody doesn't want to come back, yeah, you can't force them to come back, and that's, like, something that a lot of shonen anime do. And another perfect example of this is Naruto, where Naruto's like, oh yeah, I'm going to bring Sasuke. Like, what if the guy doesn't want to come back? You ain't bringing him back. Even if you try to drag him by force, he'll just up and leave again. So I don't like that shonen anime do that, and Bleach is simply following that. It's a typical shonen cliche, and I hate it. But nonetheless, I don't think it takes away from the chapter. In fact, I say it just takes away from Ichigo as a character. But feel free to disagree with me in the comment section below. That's completely up to you. Anyways, now let's move on into, like, probably a bit earlier into, well, a bit later into the chapter actually, when we're talking with the confrontation between Bazz-B and Renji. I've always thought that Bazz-B and Renji would be a, you know, a very good matchup, because they both can be hot-headed. Renji hasn't been so much like this in, you know, the recent arcs. Like, you know, the arc before this, he's only become badass again now. Reggie was badass in the very beginning of the series, and he's now badass now when he defeated the way insofar as the way he defeated Master Masculine. And it seems like he's retained some of that badassness simply because of his level of power. Now, with that being said, when Bazby unleashes a Burner Finger 4 after getting insulted and being called a chicken head by Renji, we actually see a bit of blood. And I'm wondering to myself, like, please don't tell me that that is Renji's blood. That there's no way Renji could be, like, you know, so badly damaged that quickly. Fair enough, Bazby is, like, you know, he's a very strong Star Knight, he's Star Knight H, and he's in his final holy form and using, like, one of his stronger techniques, Burner Finger 4. But I don't think that should be able to do significant damage to Renji. In fact, I think Renji should be able to move out of the way of that. But a thing that counters against that is when you see the image you see on the next panel after Bazby releases the Burner Finger 4. You see that it creates like a spiral, like an arc, like the tip of a blade, like it comes out from the sky, and that was very reminiscent of when Yamamoto Gen Ryusai done it against Aizen. If you guys remember when Yamamoto Gen Ryusai used the Kido, I think it was Kido number 96 Itu Kaso, which is basically done a crazy amount of damage. It reminds me exactly of that, and if it's anything along the magnitude of that, then it's obviously going to do Renji some serious damage. Whether or not you agree with me, it's up to you. But judging by, you know, the power scale of Renji, Yamamoto Gen Ryusai, and how far we've seen Bazby progress and what we've seen him do so far, it's not a far stretch, it's not a far cry to be able to say that, you know what, this Burner Finger 4 has the power of that Kido coming from is equivalent to the power of that Kido coming from Yamamoto Gen Ryusai. It's quite evident to say that. And also, what backs that up even further is the fact that when Bazby was first introduced, that, you know, like, he's the heat, I control fire and all that business, that he was able to offset Yamamoto's flames. But with that being said, offset doesn't mean overpowered, it just literally means change direction. So all that means is that his flames are strong enough to withstand, you know, maybe like a few seconds of impact, or cushion down the impact of Yamamoto's flames. And another example that kind of backs it up is when Grimmjow, a character who's been, you know, speculating to return to the series for a long time, was fighting against Shinji. When Shinji fired his Zero, Grimmjow fired a Zero of his own, not to overpower it, but to literally cushion the blow so it doesn't do so much damage. That's exactly what was meant by offset when it comes in terms of Bazby, but that's a different chapter entirely, and I'm digressing here. So anyways, let's take a quick intermediate break, because I've been talking for a little while. Alright guys, now it's time for some promotion. For those of you who don't know, I've got my own Facebook fan page, which link is always in the description below. Click on that link to stay for the latest updates with me, your boy Shimigami X. And also, I'd like for you guys to follow a new page called Squad 00 Universe, created by Charles Anime World, you know, one of my favourite YouTubers, a good friend of mine. And also, it's not just his page. I'm there, you know, giving regular updates about what's going on with me. You can have the likes of King Recon, Northside Z, Tekken 101's there, the Elite Aces there. There's a lot of awesome YouTubers that are there that give you regular updates, and we talk, converse, and things about our reviews and stuff. It's a really nice place to chill and hang out. You can ask us any questions regarding anime and manga. So yeah, feel free to hit the link in the description below, and trust me, you don't want to miss out. Join Squad 00 Universe and join Squad X. Back into the review. Alright guys, so other than that, in a nutshell, I've already covered the fact that Hashirama seems to have some crazy power, how Ichigo seems to have not really progressed in terms of maturity, how Chad and Orihime have actually seemed to progress in terms of maturity, and Chad actually seems somewhat badass, which I've not seen him in this life for a long time. We've already spoken about the fan service regarding Orihime, like, you know, with her chest being revealed a little bit, whatever. It's not really a big thing, because like a perfect example of this where it's been taken to the extreme is Matsumoto and Tia Haribel. So it's not really a big issue among Bleach. It's typical among shonen anime and manga. So nonetheless, we spoke about the power scale between Bazby, and also the potential fight between him and Renji. Personally, I do think Renji is going to overpower Bazby, but yeah, I do believe Renji's going to overpower Bazby, but I don't think it's going to be an easy fight, because fair enough, Bazby's used Burner Finger 4, but you need to remember he has like a total of 10 fingers altogether, plus he must have more techniques going into his final holy form, and the fact that he's able to deflect Yamamoto's flames obviously shows that this Star Knight has mad power. And these Star Knights are obviously evidently a threat to the Shinigami, because if he's able to, you know, make Renji pull a surprise face by using Burner Finger 4 after his training with the Royal Guard, it makes me wonder this. How the Royal Guard are going to fare up against Hashirama, Juha, and Uryu. Yes, I know it's three of them against 5, and their total strength is meant to be dwarf that of the Gote 13, but Juha quite evidently has mad power. Hashirama has mad power, and we don't know what power Uryu has, but it was even stated in this chapter that, you know, Uryu's power is somewhat surprising, that he's able to push back, you know, Orihime with her Santen Keshu while guarding Ichigo in that. So, which is something that she never expected him to be able to do. But what takes away from that is the fact that she doesn't know whether that was Juha or not. But my personal belief is this: it was either Uryu's power, which I highly doubt, or I believe it's just the effect of Hashwold's beam of light sending them up into the sky very, very fast, which is what evidently caused a shockwave. Anyways, guys, I believe I've rambled on enough. I hope you guys have enjoyed my review of Bleach Chapter 578, I believe. I have to check my phone and correct that. If it's wrong, I'll correct it in the annotation. But anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed my review. It's your boy Shinigami X, aka your Captain X. I'm signing out, and as always, my people, take care and peace. Remember, keep it 99 plus 1. You do the math. I'm signing out. Later.